Hey everyone, so it's Michelle here for Natural Beauty Times 7. You can check out my personal channel at Michelle Makeup and More. And my name only has one L in it, so it's Michelle with one L, Makeup and More. So feel free to check me out. And today I'm going to be telling you about what I think should be in a beginner starter kit. This is going to be drugstore brands, really affordable stuff, just because I think that when you're starting out, especially if you haven't really accumulated much makeup, it's really important to figure out what works for you, what kind of colors you like, and then when you go and want to buy more expensive makeup, you kind of have an idea of what you want, so you're not going to be wasting your money. So first, it's really important to have a good moisturizer. Most people know they need a cleanser, but a moisturizer is good. So for my cheap one, I'm going to recommend Cetaphil, and it is hypoallergenic. It's really good if you have dry skin, and this tub I think is $10, but I mean, it's completely full, and look how big that thing is compared to my hands. I mean, it's huge, and this will last you a year. I mean, it's a ton, and this stuff use a very, very light coating of it because it's definitely really moisturizing, but this is really important to put on before you put any makeup on because it's just going to create a really nice base for your skin and almost primes your skin for foundation. So that is really important. Next, what's really important is a concealer, and I would recommend On My Bright Eyes. It is an under eye concealer, but I actually use it all over, and it's really easy and user-friendly because it only comes in light, medium, and dark, so you can pretty much figure out where you are in those skin groups, and you don't need to match it super carefully or anything like that. So I use medium, and on top of your concealer, you might also want to get foundation. Now, this might not be something that you think is important because if you're young, you might have really good skin or you might feel like you need a lot of coverage. So I really recommend Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse because it goes on really well. It blends easy, so you're not going to get that pancake face right at your jawline where you have like a line, because that's pretty much the biggest beauty mistake you can make, is it looks like you're wearing a mask. Alright, next you need a bronzer, and I have an Artistry palette here because I don't have a lot of bronzer, but I'm just going to show you an idea of what a good bronzer should look like. Something like this is great for a beginner because when you swirl your brush around, you get the pinks, the brown, and the highlight, which is all the elements of a great bronzer. And so I think this is exactly what a beginner should look into because it makes it a lot easier to get a great color and look natural and contour. So my recommendation here is, if you don't get an Artistry palette, because I think these might be a little bit more expensive, I don't know, I've had it forever, Physicians Formula has a ton of these where you can sort of just go and pick the color scheme that you're interested in. So something like that is great, and it's also something that you can use over and over again because this can be used separately as a highlight or even an eyeshadow color, and same with this brown. So, and you could use these separately as blushes, so you've got that all together. Now for a blush, I really recommend CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless. Not only do I love the packaging, I mean, this is so brilliant because what you look at is actually the underside. So you don't have to stare at like the ugly mess of what it looks like after you use it. But this is a cream, so it's really easy to blend. I think that's great for a beginner, and it's also very inexpensive, and it comes with a little sponge, but I do not like to use a sponge. I would just recommend using your fingers. So this is great. I think it's a nice everyday color. This is in, it's 230, which I think is called Lush Berry. So that's a really nice basic starter color. Okay, so now when it comes to eyeshadows, I think that your best bet is to start with palettes because then you get a bunch of colors and you can create a look pretty simply that way. So I'm just going to recommend a couple different kinds of palettes that I would think you could start with. My first and foremost, my favorite palettes are these. I've been using this since high school and they have never done me wrong, and they were great for a starter. These are by Physicians Formula. And on the back of them, you can read that they're made for different color eyes. So you could start out by just getting the one that's good for your eyes. So this one is for green, which is me. And what I really like about these kits is they come with a ton of eyeshadows. And the way they're organized is that these top three are a lid color, a contour, and a highlight for natural. The middle is supposed to be like dramatic. And then the bottom is supposed to be like smoky dark. So, and they're all the colors are all put together to bring out green eyes. My eyes also, sometimes I get them looking kind of hazel, so I did buy the hazel palette, which it looks like this. I might recommend, which is a little bit more inexpensive, is CoverGirl. They also have one that's for eyes. This is the Vivid Greens palette, and so you could get one for your eye color, and this one comes with 2 lid colors depending on how dramatic you want to go, a contour color, and an eyeliner. So you've got like an entire look all in one palette. So I would definitely check out those 2 brands. My other recommendation is that if you want to try out some more dramatic colors and you're not used to that, I would look into NYX because they are very inexpensive. You can get them, I get them at Ulta, and their palettes are the ones that have some really bright, fun colors. So if you're going to experiment with a bright color, get an inexpensive palette because then you can mess around. Now, when it comes to eyeliners, I recommend for a starter kit that you have 2. A black and a white. If you want a brown, I think it's pretty easy to just use a powder eyeshadow, but, oh, I'm dropping these. So the white is what you use if you're looking kind of tired. You put it on the waterline and it just brightens up your whole look. This is by NYX or NYX and also very inexpensive. And then this is by Almay, and I don't like pencils that are in pencil form. I like these ones that have the soft tips that wind up because they're a lot easier to put on. They don't like pinch the skin as you're pulling it on. For mascara, my absolute favorite inexpensive mascara is Maybelline Colossal Volume. And I recommend that everyone get a Glam Black for when you're doing a darker look, and then sort of a classic brown for your everyday look. And I have one in waterproof because I use the brown when I'm doing races, so I don't want mascara all over my face. Alright, also for your eyes, I recommend you need an eyeshadow base. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you go out and buy Urban Decay Primer Potion right away because it is $17. If you want it, I do recommend it, but if you don't have a ton of money, the NYX Jumbo Eyeshadow Pencils work just as well. This is my favorite one to use as a base. It's yogurt, and it's a very just sort of like basic shimmery brown, and I think it works amazing. Now for lips, I have 3 different products to recommend. Now first, for a just basic chapstick, I have Say Yes to Carrots, which is pretty inexpensive. You can get it at Target. Really moisturizing, just a chapstick. For a gloss, I like Sephora's glosses, and you can usually buy like a little kit with a bunch of little ones like this, and that'll save you money and give you a variety. So for school or for a beginner, I really recommend just like a light pink like that. And if you're really into buying lipstick, I'd recommend starting out with a pink or a light brown. And if you're trying to think of a good brand, I really like these new ones by Maybelline that look like this. They're very inexpensive, and they come in a lot of absolutely beautiful colors like that. So I love that. Last but not least, for brushes, I'm just going to show you what you should do. My recommendation is that you buy a set of brushes, and then you can figure out which ones you use the most, and you can buy higher quality of the ones that you use daily. So I bought this set from Sonia Kashuk at Target. It was $20, and it came with everything except this one. So it's got all these brushes, and it's got this you could use for powder or blush. It's a little dirty. It's got this one right here. It came with an eyeliner brush, a lid color brush, like a nice detail brush, and a crease brush. And I have found that I use the crease brush and the liner brush a lot, so I went out and bought better quality ones. I bought a Benefit eye brush and a MAC crease brush. But I also found that like their lid brush works perfectly fine for me, so I don't need to go out and buy a more expensive lid brush. And for foundation, I don't think you need a foundation brush if you're doing liquid foundation. You can go out and buy little wedges just like this. And I'll use them 2 or 3 times and then get rid of them. They're very cheap, get a whole bag of them, so I think that is everything that a beginner needs in their makeup kit. I hope that my advice was helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below. And subscribe to Natural Beauty Times 7. Also check out my personal channel if you like what you see. There's a lot more where this came from. So I hope they have a wonderful day, and bye!